Welcome to 180 U-Turn, the talk show that features some of the greatest conversion stories of our time. Stories of men and women who are on the highway to hell when they encountered a Damascus Road event that completely turned their lives around. Hello everyone, I'm Steve Savant, and today I'm broadcasting live from the Christian Life Ranch in New River, Arizona, one of the most comprehensive Christian faith-based solutions to life-controlling problems. For more information on the Christian Life Ranch and their value-based menu of support services, weekly meetings, and special events, just check it out at tcaz.org. That's tcaz.org, and find out everything that you can find out about these people. And, by the way, if you're retired like I am, and you're looking for something to do in your ministry for once, right? Let's do something for God. You should start checking out mentor programs and volunteers at places like this. It could change your life, and I'm just extending that to anybody like myself being retired. This is the place to be. I'd say forget the soap operas and golf. It gets boring, I gotta say. All right, today, before I say that, I just want to make sure that if you want to write me on the show, it's steve@180uturn.com. It's steve@180youturn.com. Love the Bible verses you guys send me. Keep the theological and doctrinal issues off the table. I just don't want to answer those. So, that is it. But today, we're putting a focus on the story of Michael Leeders. And Michael, welcome to 180.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad, and we're up here, and you've been here for a little while at the Christian Life Ranch, right?
Been doing this for 6 years.
6 years? So, I mean, you went through the process.
I went through the process, and then I stayed on for additional.
Well, we'll talk about that Thursday and Friday show, but today, I'm sorry, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we have to talk about the bad boy issues, right?
Yeah,
it's always that. I always tell, I did a show this morning, and we got to Thursday, and after this guy's brutal testimony, I got to the Thursday, I said, shh, Holy Thursday, thank you. So let me talk about, let's go over there. Where'd you grow up? Where in the country did you grow up?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland, Ohio. Shockingly, I know Cleveland.
Do you?
I do. It's the coldest place in the Midwest in the winter off here.
Right off Lake Erie,
I mean, oh my gosh, the frozen chosen. And do you grow up in a family that had brothers and sisters?
I have two sisters.
Older, younger?
I have a twin sister and a younger sister.
You have a twin sister?
Yeah.
And a younger sister?
Yep.
And in your household, did you guys go to any kind of a church, or did you?
We grew up Catholic.
Catholic,
going to Catholic church.
Me too.
So that was a big thing. My mom
how big?
Sure it was, communion, confirmation, all that stuff.
So you went through the whole
process.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
were your other relatives, aunts and uncles, so forth, also?
Yeah, they were real big into the whole Irish Catholic.
Okay, so everybody's
phenomenon.
into it.
Yeah, they were all sold out for it.
Yeah, and of course you have the extra duty of being Irish on top of it.
Yeah.
If you're Italian or Irish and you're Catholic, you're doomed.
You're automatic punishment.
That's right. It's like first time I prayed to God, I went like this.
Yeah, shied away.
So and you said in your brief that you grew up in a very violent home. Now, I think of, I got slapped. I did. I got slapped around for discipline. But when you say violent, you're way beyond what I just said.
It was intense. My dad was part of a club. And they had lots of aunts, uncles that weren't aunts and uncles and stuff. But it was, the first time I ever saw my dad beat somebody up, I was like 5. It was at one of these parties. They'd have backyard parties and stuff.
So some guy got out of line.
Yeah, and saw my dad, hand him his hat. And I wasn't very intimidated by it. I was kind of like, I want to do. That's who I want to be.
So you thought that was a model issue?
I wanted to be that guy.
Yeah.
I wanted to be my dad, and just handle things as they show up in life. And that's what he did. He's a working man. But he's real firm-handed too. There was he was tough.
Was he tough and fair, or was he just kind of tough?
He was just tough for the most part.
Was he tough on you?
He was tough
the
on me.
The girls were lighter.
They always got. There wasn't really. Yeah, it wasn't fair.
It wasn't.
There was a lot of
Yeah.
You're getting what they should have got. Probably you're just going to take that blame, and he drank a lot, so. There was that whole excited thing when Dad would come home, hey, Dad's home, and when you're a kid, but then I was like, oh man, he's home. You're kind of like, so who am I getting?
Right.
Sometimes you get the whoop-de-doos in the air, and other times you get this get away from me and a crack in the head.
Because you don't know what day he had.
You didn't, yeah, exactly.
Right.
So
So when you're talking about that original time you saw in the backyard where he took this guy out, you used the word in your brief severe. So I mean, did he pound this guy into the ground?
It was bad. Like, I mean, people took him away.
Were you surprised at that kind of violence at the time? You're only 5 years old.
For some odd reason, I wasn't.
Wow.
I wasn't. Like I said, I was like my dad. I was like, I wanted to see that.
Sure.
You know, I wanted to see my dad. You know, we watched wrestling and stuff as little kids. You know, all I'm seeing is Hulk Hogan beat somebody up. You know, so I'm cool with that. You know, like that was kind of the way.
Now, during this time, are the guys, I want to make sure I got this right. Did I understand that the guys that your dad is hanging with, these guys are all doing drugs?
So, yeah, they were all kind of drug addicts, alcoholics.
Well, when you say drugs, do you mean like, hey, they're just blowing weed, or what are they?
Well, no, there was weed, there's speed, cocaine, there was intravenous drug use, I'm
they
sure,
must be
for
mine,
sure. Yeah, definitely. I mean, my dad, it's one of those things where it's like he did the best he could, you know. 17, he was in Vietnam.
Do you think he had role models?
No. So he didn't have a father.
He didn't have a father.
His mother signed for him to go to Vietnam when he was a kid.
So he's basically winging it.
Yeah, he's doing the best he can.
Best he can. I get that.
Best he can.
Now,
so.
you mentioned, and shifting gears a little away from your dad, I mean, you took on the good parts of your dad, too. I mean, hey, you want to be a tough, you don't want to let anybody, you're not going to take on anything, run over you, you know.
Yeah, I always thought those were like, but no vulnerabilities, you know.
Now I'm dealing with, babysitters are generally female. Were your babysitters generally female?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she was female.
Okay, so I'm just trying to place this in the best possible light, knowing that it cannot be the best possible light.
Right.
You have a female babysitter. How old was this gal?
She's about 13, 14.
13 or 14, who I'm guessing has had previous sexual experiences?
I would imagine.
You would think.
What she was leading me into was what I would assume pretty advanced at that point in time in life.
And how old were you when she's introducing you to foreplay?
8.
Okay, in your head, is this a moral issue? Is it a learning curve? It's just part of life? How you getting this?
So, crazy thing was I blocked this out. This memory didn't even surface back until I started writing the other stuff out too. And I was
you mean the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, when I did this, I just totally forgot about her, and then when I was writing out the actual letter to you, I was like, this happened. Hold on, this wasn't, and so that's why I said I'm still dealing with some things going through this. So. Yeah, it was a big, and then the whole thing, I can just see it go through it in my head, and everything about it, and it was real, and it was hard. I remember at the time, it was something I wasn't afraid of. I mean, I think I liked it. I liked the attention. I liked the attention she was giving me, so.
Now, I'm thinking, this is, I don't even know what the legal issues are and stuff like this, but I think we're probably past that.
Yeah.
But usually on shows like this, I'm dealing with almost exclusively females, right?
Right.
I think it's very odd that a gal would go over the top on an issue like this at this youth and age. She's young.
Yeah, she's young.
I mean, she's young, and then you're even younger still. So this is wild, and I just want to say again, as a child of the 60s who invented all the perversions we're into today, I'm so sorry for that. We brought it into the whole game. I got to tell you, I have nothing but remorse and godly sorrow for the stuff that we invented in the baby boomer generation. And this is just another perversion. You got your 14-year-old babysitter. Now you can't even trust a babysitter to watch you with any kind of morality.
Right.
I mean, that's blowing my mind.
Thinking back, I can only imagine what she'd been through.
Yeah, and maybe
it's not like something. She was 13. I mean, for 13, 14, I can't really.
And by the way, I get that, but there's no excuse for her anyway.
No, I'm not excusing it, but I'm trying to look back at what could have happened to her too.
Right, and I appreciate the compassion. That's a good thought. Now you got into you're in school.
Yeah.
You're not going to take anything from anybody.
No,
how big are you at this time? Are you you're a big man?
I was pretty. I was a big kid. I mean, I was muscular.
Did you do sports?
I wrestled.
Did you like it?
I loved wrestling because it was something my dad put me into, and he would be there for that. that was something he was at. Right, wrong, or indifferent, he would be there drunk, he would be there sober.
But he's always there.
He's there.
Well, I got to give him that. I'm giving him more.
Love him for that.
And by the way, you mentioned Hulk Hogan yesterday. I met Hulk Hogan on Playing with My Daughter.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
That's
it was
pretty
great.
cool.
And he was very gracious, I have to say. Very gracious. Okay, now, so you're getting in fights, and I'm assuming you're not losing.
Yeah.
So when you're duking it out with people here.
Yeah.
Right?
It's there'd be those times when I probably took things too far and I'd catch a whooping for that. That was kind of where my dad would draw, hey, you're not supposed to be doing this anyways, A lot of 10 and 11-year-olds can't really fight anyways, and my dad's I'm ahead of the curve a little bit, and I don't know, I felt bad looking back on it now. It just really kind of sucked. I didn't see myself as a bully, but I didn't see myself as somebody who would back down from anybody. Right. So,
well, you don't strike me today. Of course, you're in the war, but I mean, just back then, you're not a provocateur. You're not at the upfront. You're not doing it.
I wasn't a button pusher.
Yeah,
I really wasn't. It seemed like you have your different avenues, and growing up in school and stuff. You got your rich kids, you got your poor kids, and we were not by any means rich. You're wearing the same clothes at school and stuff, and kids pick on you. And so that was rough, and they'd pick on my sister, and that would provoke me to
maybe go over the top a few times. Yeah. Hey,
definitely.
By the way, in my neighborhood, you'd have never had a problem but applause.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Now, when you said you tried pot for the first time when you were 10.
Yeah, about 10.
Okay, who introduced you to that, though?
Oh, gosh, there was this kid up the street from us, Jerry Bauer, and he said, hey, man, come smoke pot with. There's this creek underneath the bridge, on the creek, on the way home from school, and I did it. I don't know if that first time you ever really get high.
You know what you're doing.
But, I did it, and I kept doing it, And then finally get high. Right. So that was fun, just hanging out with the 16-year-old kid. And that was cool.
That was very cool.
It was very cool. I'm hanging out with the big kids.
They invited you.
Yeah. So that was, the cool thing.
I totally get that. Now, this incident with your aunt, I mean, you've already had your sexual encounter with your babysitter, Which aunt is this, your dad's sister or your mom's sister?
It's on my mom's side of the family.
Well, see, there's a whole nother thing. I mean, it's like, where is the line drawn on this stuff, right? I just can't conceive. We're just getting younger, more incestual. I mean, life without God here, that's what we're talking about here. But what was that like? I mean, she's related to you.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, at this point in time, you're already kind of going through emotions and feeling things. You already get erections and stuff. So this is a hard thing to admit. I liked it. Someone's giving you that attention,
right?
And they're doing things to your body that you like, and then they're teaching you things, and you like to do these things, and it's shameful to me now. It's something I'm still working through. There's a lot of shame involved in that, so it's hard. It's a hard thing to.
And I just want to say, again, I don't assign blame at this age to the ages you're talking about. This is all out of line by these older people.
Yeah,
this is all out of line. I mean, I wouldn't be beating yourself on that issue.
No,
not that you are. I'm just saying,
No, it's still weird.
But it lasted a couple of years.
Yeah.
I mean, so I just come to you. Listen, I know the experience. Young guy having some gal take care of him for the first couple of years of his teenage life. I mean, that's kind of gruesome, kind of great and gruesome at the same time.
It was exactly that.
Yes. So I'm just saying, hey, it's time to wake up. And if you're involved in this, and your aunt or uncle or your babysitters preying on you, whether you're male or female, it's time to talk it out and tell somebody, right? And please, mom and dad, if your kid comes to you, please believe him. Gosh, my gosh, I run through this all the time. Lastly, you were about 12 or 13 when your mom, I'm sorry, before you do that, your mom found out about all this.
Yeah, it came out, and that was a real rough, just kind of broke up the whole family side on that. There was a whole Christmases going to Nana's house and stuff like that. Everything just kind of fell apart after that, and I called it a dark time because I felt real alone. I knew everybody was arguing, I knew everybody was fighting, but I had no one to talk to. No one really, I don't remember really talking to anybody about this. I remember...
Yeah, and how could you talk about it?
I remember being yelled at about a few things, like, why didn't you say something? It's just, of course, I wouldn't know how to react.
How were you supposed to explain it?
Yeah, so...
Right. Nobody's articulate like that back then. Maybe today, but not back then.
No, it was a different era.
Well, listen, we have so much to unpack in the show on Michael Leeders' story. We're going to be back tomorrow to have our second episode. You won't want to miss it. And you'll actually, in my view, you should watch all these in succession in chronology so you get the big picture. Listen, also, if you want more information on the Christian Life Ranch and their value-based menu of support services, weekly meetings, special events, just hop out to their website at tcaz.org. That's tcaz.org. Well, until next time, I'm Steve Savan, and remember, no one's outside the reach of God. No, not one.